What's up, y'all? It's your TaylorMade Wealth Gardening. Stop trying to harvest in planting season. What do I mean? Some of you are frustrated, right? I've been frustrated because you're trying to harvest in a season for planting. Like, if you're not seeing a profit right now, maybe it isn't harvest season. Maybe it's a planting one. So every season has a purpose, ladies and gentlemen. Farmers don't necessarily expect fruit the day they plant the seed, right? Because we often talk about the seed. So why do we? Why do we expect something to grow as soon as we put it in the ground, right? Because remember, growth has stages, right? There's seed, time, and then a harvest. Planting sometimes feels invisible. There will be seasons where, just like the seed, you're going to be buried. Just like the seed, people aren't going to see necessarily your vision. They're not going to see what you're doing. They're going to say, oh, you're moving it, you're doing this, you're doing that, not looking at the growth that's taking place inside of you. Because remember, we talk about this all the time. Growth doesn't just happen vertically, but it also happens downwardly, gravitropically, right? Phototropic is when people see you shine and they see you winning, they see you doing your thing. But there's a season, ladies and gentlemen, where if you want to get to the other side of your dreams, your goals, your vision, your destiny, you're going to have to be buried. You're going to have to put in those times where you don't have to get on your knees and seek God, where you're going to have to go down and figure out what it is that you've been called to do, or what your vision is, or you're going to have to go through those growing pains, right? Because there's a season where you're going to be invisible, where you have to learn, right? Where you're going to have to go through savings. You're going to have to go through building habits. You're going to have to go through building systems, investing. It's not a pretty season. In fact, a lot of times that stage is boring. That stage seems mundane. But that's where character is built, ladies and gentlemen. It's built in those seasons where you keep grinding, you keep not necessarily grinding, but flowing, right? You keep doing what you need to do. That is where you have to delay gratification. That is where quick wins feel great, but it's the long-term discipline that builds legacy. It's the long-term positioning that really is where your harvest is. But you got to know that it's going to require time. It's going to require patience as a planter. Remember, as a gardener, as a farmer, as a wealth builder, as a person who's willing to put seeds in the ground, things do take time. And unfortunately, on social media and all these platforms, a lot of times we see people shining, not realizing that there is a season where things are going to be painful. There's a season where you're going to have pruning. There's a season where you're going to have separation. There's a season where you're going to have to grow. And it's not always pretty, but it is worth it. Because at the end of the day, our thoughts are not his thoughts. God's thoughts are not our thoughts. He sees things that we don't see. And so there will be seasons in your life where you have to stay buried. We have to work on purpose. We have to delay certain things. We have to build the systems that nobody sees, so that you can be not only principle based, so that you can maintain the blessing when it happens, but you are in character. You're living on purpose. You're living with intention. So I want to encourage you. This may not be your season of harvest, but it is your season of planting. So plant the seed and expect the harvest, but know that it requires faith, because without faith, it's impossible not only to please God, but to know that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of the things that you're not quite seeing yet. I'll catch y'all next time. TaylorMade Welcome.